Night, LaMelo and Lonzo Ball played 1 year together at Chino Hills High School. Now they are the only brothers in NBA history to both be selected in the top 5 of the NBA draft. And for the first time in their professional careers, they got to do battle against each other. Let's get you set for that game on Countdown.
Steph is running into the front court. Draymond finds him another three. 62!
The young Pelicans look to soar to a playoff appearance, but how soon till they're really a contender? And the Ball brothers, it's a showdown for the first time on an NBA stage. The lesson Charlotte learned from Lonzo in drafting LaMelo. Plus, is Paul George the leader of the Clippers, and can Steph Curry really keep up this pace? That's next on Countdown.
Curry blocked by Leonard. Williamson with a flush. Oh!
What a find! LaMelo Curry, a deep three, got it!
Welcome to NBA Countdown, presented by Mountain Dew.
So NBA Countdown flew south for the winter. It's the home of the Miami Heat, the 2020 Eastern Conference Championships, but it's also home of the 2021 National Championship. Hard Rock Stadium on Monday night will be rocking because that's where the iconic clash between Alabama and Ohio State will be taking place. So that is home base for your national championship. This is home base for NBA Countdown here tonight. We're getting you set for an awesome doubleheader. Obviously, the Pelicans and the Hornets, and your nightcap is a pretty good one filled with a couple of threes. So let's start out with our Mountain Dew three-point performance presented by Mountain Dew. The Clippers, they're hitting just under 41% from long range this season, which is second in the league behind only the Milwaukee Bucks. Meanwhile, the Clippers will face Steph Curry and Golden State in the second game of our doubleheader. They're technically our nightcap. And you know I couldn't do this all alone. You got to welcome in the boys. Jalen Rose joining us and Jay Will. They seem to have switched their turtlenecks for some reason. I'm not 100% sure, but Jalen, I want to start with you because you came with it. And we know that Steph has had 60 and 32 points already this week. He loves the turtleneck, but the question is, can he maintain that? Obviously, that's what the Warriors need him to do all season long, Jalen.
He's going to need to maintain his usage and his health, Maria, and that's what we charge all NBA players to do. Regardless of who James Harden is playing with, they've been one of the better teams in the West. Look at Luka Doncic, how he's playing without Kristaps Porzingis. Steph Curry is the best point guard in the league. So therefore, you got to show up and lead your team to the playoffs like Dame Lillard has basically done every year he's been in Portland. And it's amazing to see him get going and score 62. The next game, he had 13. So I believe that he has what it takes to get the Warriors to the playoffs. And it's the joy to see him just have fun playing basketball, knowing that they're not necessarily the team to beat, but knowing he got to put in work because he's playing without his splash brother.
All right, well, speaking of the playoffs, Jalen, I bet that's one word the Clippers aren't really interested in because of a season ago. So I want to know if you've seen anything different from the Clips so far this season that means that we're not going to see another letdown like we saw against the Nuggets in the playoffs a season ago.
Well, here's what I think about the Clippers, Maria and Jalen, is that, last year, everything was given to the Clippers. Everybody had them slated to be in the conference finals. Everybody kept telling them how great they were. We kept waiting for them to turn it on. And you still felt, regardless of them, losing that lead to the Denver Nuggets, they're good. They're going to turn on. And when they turn on, they're going to be the team we all expected them to be. Well, look, Playoff P had a horrible playoff performance in that series. Same with Kawhi Leonard. And they had to live with that. I actually think this year is the year for the Battle of LA. You know why? Because the Clippers actually have something to play for. Because everybody is dogging the Clippers. People have been dogging Paul George. More than any other year of his career, people are talking trash to Playoff P. They're calling him Pandemic P to his face. And I think he actually has tried to step up and become the leader. I just don't know who on this team makes everybody else great. Who on this team makes the game easy for everybody? And that's my question that I think overall hinders them from actually coming out of the West.
Well, so far as a team, they're doing well offensively. They rank third in the league in offensive efficiency, so we'll see if they'll be able to play well here tonight. But I want to get to some news because we knew all season long there is no bubble. There was obviously going to be COVID-related news stories, and obviously you all heard about Seth Curry testing positive and had to actually be removed from the game in the first quarter against the Nets in Brooklyn. Now, the Sixers stayed overnight in New York to conduct a little bit of contact tracing, but we got to bring in our senior NBA insider, Adrian Wojnarowski, to give us the latest on this. And obviously, what can you tell us about the developing situation as we continue to see that the COVID fallout is going to be affecting the Sixers for a while?
Maria, the Sixers expect that they're going to be without perhaps as many as several players when they play Denver tomorrow night back in Philadelphia. They remain in New York. They tested there today. They're waiting the results of those tests. They want to make sure that that Seth Curry positive test from yesterday validates itself today. But players who were in close proximity to him, and they expect there to be several, are going to be out of the lineup. Now, it's a question of how long. This is a team that's gotten off to a 7-2 start. You know, at some point here, they'd like to be able to head back down to Philly. But this is something that every team in the league is dealing with to varying degrees. And you can feel, I think, the pall that is hanging over organizations right now is real. It is exhausting. I think the players and coaches and staff trying to manage all of this. Michael Porter Jr. with Denver, he did not make the trip. He's going to be out for another extended period of time. And so you're going to see Boston without two centers, Robert Williams, Tristan Thompson, at least for the short term. This is something that I think for a lot of teams, you know, Utah today, playing in Milwaukee, just getting out and having a shoot around, which they're not able to do very often because these teams are kept so apart from each other. Teams will tell you it's tough to build chemistry. It's tough to build camaraderie and relationships because they're constantly being separated. And I think you're seeing the impact on the floor in play, not just with teams who are losing players, but those who are on the court, and the familiarity just isn't there yet. The practice time isn't always there.
All right, thank you, Woj, and we'll continue to watch the fallout from COVID testing right now in the league. Every single player is tested twice, a rapid test and a PCR test every single day, and sometimes we'll see that 12 to 16-hour lapse where a player will be taken off the court just like Seth Curry. Appreciate it, Woj. Well, now it's time for a little bit of signature style, and that's brought to you by Zales, and it's Brandon Ingram here today. Let's see what he walked in to the arena with. Do we approve of it, Jalen? Are you cool with it? I like the white jacket, actually.
Great, they laying down nicely.